I mean, you look cute. Where's Lisa? She was visiting today. Two hands.
All right, it looks like we have a full house today. Thank you all for coming today. This is the AREAA Greater Denver Mega Panel Producer event, and I just wanted to first start off by thanking everybody for coming. We have, we have California in the house, and Texas, right? Where's Texas at? So thank you guys for flying in for the event. First off, wanted to thank our board and everybody who's worked so hard on this event, as well as our corporate sponsors. AREAA Greater Denver sponsors for 2023, our Platinum sponsor, Bank of the West. Our Jade sponsor, Chase Bank. We have Diamond sponsors, First Bank and Bank of America. And our Bronze sponsors, Fidelity National Title, Elevations Credit Union, Stewart Title, Land Title, and Chaffa. And then also wanted to thank our sponsors for the evening, New Western Mortgage, Absolute Mortgage and Lending, Sensational Home Staging, Dr. Fix-It, Panorama Commercial Group, Go Fish, and Bronze Empire, and Colorado Ornamental Iron. And last but not least, 3i Law. Thank you so much for allowing us to be able to get into this venue. Just so you know, this is more like a private event. So it's a beautiful rooftop, but we wouldn't have been able to get in without 3i Law and Grant. Where's Grant? I think he had to go, but he serves on our board as our, our legal counsel. All right, so I'm going to first start off by introducing the panel. We have Eva Stadelmaier. She is, along with being Jefferson County's top agent from 2013 to 2022, Eva was recently presented with the Circle of Legends Award, one of the highest levels of recognition in RE/MAX. She is recognized as #1 in her office, #1 in the company, #2 in all of RE/MAX for the whole entire state, 27th in the United States, and 87th in the world for RE/MAX. She is the recipient of RE/MAX Diamond Club Award. She's a SMEDRA 5 Diamond Circle Agent, 5280 5-star professional. And the RE/MAX Mountain States recently recognized her, as I said, with #2 in the whole entire state of RE/MAX. I don't know if you guys know, there's 150 agents in the world, so for her to be 87th in the world, that's a pretty huge honor. In addition, Eva holds a luxury home marketing designation and is a certified negotiation expert. She's also a certified distressed property expert and has spent close to 30 years in corporate and real estate sales. She has the experience and track record to help you find the home of your dreams. So let us welcome Eva Stadelmaier. Herman Tian. Herman needs no introduction, but he's from San Francisco Bay, born and raised, UC Berkeley alumni, class of 2000, trilingual in English, France, and Chinese. He's a pianist and a gunkle. Over 20 years in business, as seen on HGTV, CNET, Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and a past national luxury chair for AREAA. Let us all welcome Herman Tian. Jamie Tian, also our 2025 AREAA National President, joins us today as a top producing agent for over 10 years. Jamie takes pride in her discretion while providing the finest service to clients ranging from first-time homebuyers to A-list celebrities. Jamie was awarded the distinction of the 30 Under 30 by the National Association of Realtors in 2017, and she's a Real Trends America Best Real Estate Professionals Top 101% nationwide in 2022. She's an A-list top producer by the Asian Real Estate Association of America for 5 consecutive years and top 25 agents on social media by Property Spark. Jamie is fluent in Chinese and specializes in properties throughout Los Angeles and Orange County. She is an active member of the community and a UCLA alumna. Oh. She served on the 2020 National Association of Realtors Presidential Advisory Group on Sustainability and was recently elected to be the 2025 National President of the Asian Real Estate Association of America. So congratulations for that, Jamie. Jamie also currently serves on the Greater Los Angeles Association of Realtors Board of Directors. So everybody, again, please help me welcome Jamie Tian. They literally just flew in like 2 hours ago. And our moderator for the evening, Jeremiah Glass with Bank of the West. Jeremiah Glass is a private mortgage banker for the Wealth Management Group in Denver. In this capacity, he services affluent and high net worth clients for their residential financing and credit needs. Jeremiah has worked in the banking and financial service industry for 20 years and with Bank of the West for the last 8 years, and experience in retail banking, business banking, and insurance. Previous positions include senior licensed personal banker, financial consultant, mortgage banker, and licensed mortgage broker. He graduated from Minnesota State University with a bachelor's degree in finance. After college, Mr. Glass moved to Colorado and started a career in banking. The career started on the retail side of the bank, but quickly moved into business banking and lending, as well as consumer banking and lending, and ultimately moved over to residential financing full-time. For the last 18 years, the focus has been 100% residential lending with over $650 million residential funding career to date. The last 3 years have been focused on luxury mountain homes in Colorado and surrounding states, with $93 million funded in 2021 and $71 million funded in 2022. Mr. Glass moved to Colorado with his wife just after they both graduated from college and are celebrating their 20th year anniversary in the state of Colorado.
Not a native. What about your 20 years? That's got to come from something.
They currently have 4 children.
That counts for a lot.
So any free time is filled with extracurricular activities, skiing, camping, traveling, boating, and numerous sporting events. Everybody, please let me welcome Jeremiah Glass with Bank of the West.
Thank you, Lisa. So this is going to be a fun discussion because we have a pretty fun group here. And I am the moderator, so we can start with the word moderation. This is a moderate group, from what I can tell, right? Yeah. So we're here to talk. We've got 3 rock stars over here, which is going to be great. We're gonna probably laugh a little bit. We're gonna have some serious discussion. We're hopefully not going to get any crying in here. I don't know. But I'm going to start with, I guess, kind of the first question I like to ask people. Actually, let me back up. So being a lender, I'm really excited, and I thank you for the opportunity to be up here because I think it's important to, I can also kind of show you my side of the coin, so to speak. I've seen a lot of these, and it's all been real estate agent, which is great, but hopefully I can add something to it, something you guys might not see on your side of it. So I want to start with a question I've asked for years. At this point, I know hundreds of people in the business on the lending side and the real estate side. And the question I always like to ask when I meet somebody is just very simple. How did you get in the business, right? So we'll start right here.
Yeah, so I started in the business when I was 20 years old. So at the time, I was a senior at UCLA doing my undergraduate degree. I was studying environmental science. And I was working at a law firm as a legal assistant, and my plan was to go to law school. So my parents are the typical Chinese parents. They're both PhD engineers, and they gave me 3 choices: engineering, doctor, or lawyer. I started off thinking I wanted to do engineering, hence the environmental major, but I got into a couple of physics and chemistry classes. It was really hard. my parents are like, I don't understand how this is hard for you. This is basically like high school level math, but for them, right? But it was so difficult for me. I was like, I don't think this is a good fit for me. I didn't think that being a doctor was a good fit for me either. I was scared of blood and medicine and things like that. So I'm like, I guess lawyer's the only choice left. So I finished my LSATs. I was working at the law firm, applied to law school and was just kind of waiting around, finishing up my last few quarters at UCLA. And at the time, $1 Million Listing had just started in Los Angeles. So literally I was going to UCLA, which is in the middle of Westwood. So it's surrounded by literally Beverly Hills, Bel Air, Holmby Hills, literally the nicest homes you've ever seen in your life, right? And I'm seeing these open house signs of the agents on the $1 Million Listing show. I'm like, this is so cool, like right outside my school. And I was like, kind of want to give this a shot. It might be kind of fun. Maybe I could do it as like a side gig during law school, right? So I got my license and I kind of just dove right into it. And I started trying to prospect, sold 2 very small houses before I graduated from college. And it was obviously exciting, right? I got my first commission check for the first time. I was like, wow, this is a big chunk of money. I'm used to getting $12.50 an hour. And then after taxes, that's like, I don't know, what, $8. So, and then I got to pay for parking. So, it was like basically, it was crazy. So I'm like, this is interesting. I'm about to take out a big student loan to go to law school, or I can continue working and make money. And I really actually enjoy this. And, working at the law firm for me felt really stiff, like sitting in the cubicle. I love going out and meeting people and talking to people, doing different things every day. So kind of just dove right into it and then sold a couple of homes. So 1 week before law school started, I already paid my tuition and everything. I told my parents I'm not going. I'm going to do real estate full time. So you can imagine what they thought, and a lot of screaming, yelling, crying, tears. Many arguments later, they're like, okay, we'll let you do whatever you want. We really don't support this. We're not going to support you financially or anything. You're doing this on your own. And so dove into it, and fast forward 10 years, here I am.
Did they think you'd be back? Did did they think you would come back?
And honestly, for the first 5 years in the business, even after I started becoming successful, made more money than my own parents, right? They were still like, why don't you go back to school? Maybe get an MBA. It might help. There's something to fall back on. It never hurts, Eventually, finally, I think in the last few years, they stopped doing that. Now they're just like, when are you going to have kids? But that's their new priority, but yeah.
Very good. Unneeded.
So I started in corporate America and was working in New York. And my husband and I both got transferred, and I was an account manager for the IBM account. So I flew out here, I moved here, and I was like, God, this place is so mellow compared to New York, and it's so chill, and everybody's on their mountain bike, and I'm at work every day. It was just a different environment from back east, and everybody back east wore suits, and people are here so relaxed. And so anyway, yeah, I loved it, and I was like, all right. So about 13 years in corporate America, and when I was pregnant with my 3rd son, I just had this like gut feeling. I'm like, I bought the book, I want to do this, and I'm like, if I don't go to school now when I'm pregnant, I'm never going to do it because I'm going to have a baby. And so I quit my job. My husband's like, what? Because I had a pretty good paying job that was a guarantee. And I said, I'm just doing it. I just went in all in, and that's just kind of my personality. I go big or I stay home. And I took the test 3 weeks after my baby was born, my 3rd son, and passed immediately. I'm like, this is it. This is my future. And 17 years later, here I am.
So because you passed the test, you thought
no,
this was the future?
I took.
There's a lot of realtors that pass
exactly.
the test. Okay?
No, but you know what? I did it. I didn't even have to think about it. It was like versus school and everything else. When I was in college, it was just I was just like, this is my thing. It just was the easiest thing I've ever done, and I'm like, I'm doing this. And it took me a little bit, but it's funny you said that 5-year number, because I think it takes you about 5 years to start any business. That's just kind of but first couple of years I really started moving it along, and I just really worked my network and all my friends, and I don't feel like I work a day in my life. I love what I do. I for the most part, there are days, thank you. There are days that I'm like, really? Okay, I need a bottle of wine. But just the satisfaction and the gratification that we have from this, and my clients are so happy. But that's basically, I just did it. I went all in, and here I am 17 years later. So
Right
kind
on.
of short story, but
Herman.
We only have an hour, right? I keep it. The 3 Bs. Take notes, okay? Be bright, be bold, be gone. By the way, everyone is so friendly here, by the way. I got off the plane and everyone at the airport was, like, the guitar was lost, okay? And so they were just random strangers would come up to me and I thought, oh my God, I'm getting assaulted. Oh my God, 911, I'm being attacked. No, people are like, are you lost? Are you okay? And they were just so sweet. I mean, like, I'm gonna move here. I'm gonna go realtor. How'd I get started? Good Lord. So I went to Berkeley and I graduated in 2000, straight into dot bomb and 9/11. So at the time I was recruited to be an analyst at Gap Inc. Corporate in downtown SF. Gap is terrible now, but back then it was like, you know, exactly. Yes, I don't swear I'm a lady, but yes, it was the shit. So I took that job, got the signing bonus, I did that whole thing, prestigious. I left in 3 months. I was crying every day in the bathroom. It just wasn't my thing. I was calling from the bathroom every day to my sister who was still at Berkeley taking her courses, just saying, I don't know what I'm doing here. God. And I just quit. I quit. And my mom was like, just get your license to sell a house to stay afloat and save face for the family while you study for your LSATs, your MCATs. I bought the course for you already. Here are the books. Start studying. And so I just started selling, and because I was born and raised in the area already, so I said my natural diaspora friends and family are already there. And a year or two passed by, and my mom's like, "Why aren't you? Mildred's daughter got into Harvard Law School. Well, what can I tell them?" I'm like, "Mom, I'm having such a great time here, selling so much and helping our friends and family. Why would I take on $500K of debt and the next 5 to 10 years of my best years of my life, whatever that means, just I don't want to do. No, that doesn't make any sense to me now." So that was 23 years ago. Gosh, yes. I just turned 45 on Monday, girl. So wish this perimenopausal girl a happy birthday.
I'll buy you a drink.
Right on. Those are excellent. I'm going to make this real short for me. I was a banker, and it's about 2003, and we're in the refi boom. And I'm just watching all these mortgage people just like crush it. And I'm like, I just want to make more money. That's okay. Done. And I think I'm better than them anyway. So let's just make the move. And that was 20 years ago. And it took me a while to like the job. I got to be honest. It was pretty challenging in the beginning, but now I enjoy pretty much all of it. Not all of it, pretty much all of it. So let's chat a little bit about specifically, the luxury real estate piece of this. Okay, so I think there might be a misconception, or I guess the question is, what's a misconception that if you tell somebody I'm a luxury real estate agent, what do you think? What would you say is one or two misconceptions about that?
That we're not down to earth, maybe. Because, I think that's. So I try not to use that word as easily, just because I want to kind of spread, be as open to everybody, versus have somebody be a little more standoffish, whether they have money or not. So that's kind of my thought. So
on the flip side, though, really quick, how do you position it to a client that you are? Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
so if I'm on an interview and it's a luxury home, I talk about the volumes and the homes that I have sold or marketed or listed that are in that realm. So I really try to conform myself to the specific
past success
interview. Yeah, but I'll talk about the luxury homes that I have sold, so that I can relate to that. I think it's relatability.
Yep. Very good. Jamie?
If we're talking about misconceptions, I would say that when I meet people, they would assume that I was born into some wealthy family and that luxury real estate and real estate just came really easily to me. I think a lot of people think that when they first meet me, like, you're so young, you're selling luxury real estate, your parents must be wealthy, these must be your parents' friends. And that's like completely not the case at all. I'm a first generation immigrant from China. I was born in China. I came to America when I was 5 years old. My family and I came here with literally no money at all. And we worked so hard, like day by day, to own our first house. And that was the reason why we came to America. And that's the reason why AREAA is so important, is because, you know, we have to, I think out there, a lot of people have the conception, especially lately, that Asians are so wealthy and we all are cash offers and all that. And that's certainly not the case. I think most of us aren't. And like the reason that my parents immigrated to America was because at the time that I was born in China, the government owned all the property in China. You couldn't rent or buy a property, even if you were wealthy. If you had money, you couldn't rent or buy a property. They literally assigned housing to people. And it was by seniority of your rank. Everyone basically works for the government. It depends on your seniority. My parents were college professors at the time, which was a very great job, but they weren't ranked high enough to even receive housing. So at the time when I was born, we literally, three of us lived in the research lab where my parents worked during the day, and mattress on the ground, that's where I was born. And they were like, we don't know when someday we'll even have the opportunity to rent or buy a home. And so that's why they came to America, literally for the American dream, for opportunity. And that's what makes me work so hard, and like what gives me the drive and gives my parents the drive. And I think like that's a misconception that people see when they see me. They're like, oh, you got nice shoes on, nice bag, you must be rich. You must have came from a rich family.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
So, yeah.
So you're not, so anybody's seen that new real estate show? I think it's on HGTV with Kendra, Kendra Wilkinson. She's in real estate now. Have you guys seen that? So you're not Kendra. You don't have Kendra's background.
Yeah, I also was not a Playboy bunny, but you know.
Really?
What was the question? I wasn't born on a mattress in a research lab. No, but I was born at Kaiser because that's all we could afford. But I mean, obviously, that's luxury compared to a mattress and all. So the question was
misconception that people would have about you if you present yourself as a luxury real estate agent.
Well, first of all, I don't present myself as a luxury real estate agent. Number one, just because it's obnoxious. Number two, if you're that well known and that established in those circles, you don't have to say that. And number three, in this market right now with the recession, and yeah, I said the R word. This is the wrong messaging. It's not about like leading with that type of opulence. It's sending like, it's bad optics personally. Fourthly, I started from the bottom, girl. Yes, I did. My first homes I ever sold were trailer homes, mobile homes in ghetto. Oh, that's a bad word now. Ghetto. The ghetto East Oakland. East Oakland, honey, yes. So, oh God, I think each one was like $90K each, and I was paid $500 each. $500 each because I was a favorite, but I was hungry at the time and I just wanted experience, and it was for a good cause, obviously. And I was introduced to that because of a nonprofit a girl who worked there I went to college with, so that's how she kind of brought me in. So, anyways, so I think the misconception is that you only sell a certain like vertical, but like. Number one, that's not true. Number two, no one starts at the top. Unless you're a Nepo baby, because you know a lot of realtors out there, they have families who help them, and those kids would be nowhere without mama blazing the trail. So it's kind of like keeping it real is really more important nowadays. Yeah.
I think I just want to add to that because I've had some folks say to me, "Oh, you only sell on the high end." And I'm like, you know what? I'll sell a $200,000 condo all day long. And I mean, every dime counts. So give me your kids. And then, I have generations after generations coming back to me, and that's how you build your business. So take it all. And yeah, so that is a perception, in my opinion, of what people believe. But I'm like, absolutely not. Just sell it all. And I think it is important for everybody to know that and spread that word is, I'll sell you, I'll go.
You can help with the 200 to 20 million.
I'll go all over town and make a, $2,000 commission if I need to.
And for me personally, just having the role as the private mortgage banker, in the wealth management group, I actually struggle with this quite a bit because just my title, people assume that people literally tell me, you just work with rich people, right? And I'm like, no, I actually, that's, my focus, but again, just like you, I can do a $200,000 FHA loan and, a $20 million loan and, everything in between. And like you said, I do work with a lot of first-time homebuyers. A lot of them are my clients' kids, which is great. Seeing the next generation come through is a good indicator that you got some traction and longevity in the business, right? It's awesome to see. So let's talk a little bit about talking about specifically a luxury home. What would be your definition of a luxury home?
I'm going to pass on this one because I think we kind of touched a little bit, and I'm going to go second. Well, I'll just go. So I think it depends on the area. We're not in LA. We're not in San Francisco. We're in Colorado. I mean, you have a different luxury home than I do. Boulder, I mean, I've looked at crap in Boulder, and it's $2.5 million, and I wouldn't live in it. So, but you go to Colorado Springs, and a $2.5 million home in Colorado Springs is unbelievable. So I think it just depends on the area and the perception. I had a client that looked at me and said, I want 1.8 for my house. And I'm like, there's no way you're ever going to, there's no way. She's like, well, look at my lot. Look at this, and all the other houses around me are selling for $2 million. I'm like, okay. So that was her perception, that she had a luxurious, beautiful home because of the lot, but it was run down. So I think it just depends. So that's,
and actually the second part to this, so the client part of it. So let's just move away from the word luxury. Let's just say high net worth, wealthy, looking to buy a expensive home. Because I think at the end of it, when you're talking about a luxury home, it's always going to somehow elevate the price of the property, right? You're not going to buy a luxury condo for $200,000 somewhere. Here you're not. I mean, right. I don't know where you can, but so as far as the clientele, do you feel you have to change anything that you do to meet their expectations? Do you think it's harder working with high net worth people, et cetera, et cetera?
Actually, I don't. I think people with more money are more reasonable. It just depends on who you're dealing with, but a lot of people with money are a little bit more reasonable, and they're not as flashy, and they're not as showy.
In
People
Colorado.
that don't, right, there again, but people that don't have the money, they're driving the really nice car, but their house is crap. So
yeah.
It just depends on how you.
I think we're all God's children. Let us pray. Let us pray. Yeah, honey. Where are my anointing oils? What was my comment? So yeah, in a nutshell, like someone could be living in a $10 million house, but they're completely over leveraged and like barely, so that the physicality of a house is kind of a misnomer sometimes, because you qualify for something depending on how you treat it, wear and tear, or what you're over. So that's just one thing. You could be totally poor and live in a big, nice, fancy house. The definition of luxury is options. When people have options, that means you're a baller, because you don't have to sell. I've had clients who bought a house 10 years ago, 12,000 square foot, never moved into it a day. And it's just like it's like pennies for them, just whatever and so, I mean, when you're at that level, that they don't have to buy, the versus most regular peeps like proletariat, little peasants like us, it's like, oh my gosh, the carrying cost, should we rent an out and like compare? That's not even like a thing for them, because they have options. It's probably like their vacation house at like 20. So it's understanding where they're coming from, and your question is like how you treat them. Hard to say, because I really feel like I feel people are people. There are people who are very difficult, who are ultra high net worth, but then there's people who have the first time buyer, that Gen X girl who just the bougie, and she can't afford, but she she's what's like a beer budget, she's difficult too. But I mean, it's kind of like it depends. But I do feel like it's harder. For luxury clientele to motivate them, because their motivations are different than most people. Most people, it's like the financial, the carrying the burden. They don't really have that problem. For them, it's about image. They don't want to be embarrassed. Like if you're pushing something out there, if something doesn't sell, or it's priced incorrectly, or the marketing is incorrect, or not in the right magazines or something, it's for them, it's much more about pride, because they can afford to stand on pomp and circumstance.
Jamie?
Yeah, so I mean, I agree with everything that you both have said. I think luxury is very subjective, right? So what's luxury to one person may not be luxury to another person, and what's, vice versa. And so I definitely don't think that luxury is a price point because, for $1 million in LA, you can't even get a tear down shack. So it's literally unlivable, right? So I mean, but I think luxury to me it's a lifestyle, it's an experience, it's like a level of service that agents provide, and that can be in any price point depending on the neighborhood. Luxury can be a condo, luxury can be a house, right? There's all different types of luxury. And I think that working with luxury clients, I find that they're very particular in certain ways and not in others, like you said, right? So like, for example, I'm working with a very high net worth client, and when they make offers on the property, like $9 million house, say, right? They're still very, very fierce negotiators. Like even 50,000, 100,000, they still care and they're going to negotiate down to the last dime. But then like this client, he's negotiating over $50,000 for a $9 million house. As soon as we close, this house is a brand new construction. He guts the entire master because I'll tell you why, okay? Because the master closet and the master bathroom were in the wrong places for feng shui, and he just wanted to flip-flop them. So he ended up spending like a couple $100,000 tearing apart a brand new construction, flip-flopping the location of the closet and the bathroom because he's very particular about that, and that experience and that lifestyle is worth it to him. But in the negotiation, he's still pinching down to the last $10,000 because he still has to win, right? So it's interesting, right? It's a different type of negotiation, and you have to understand, like, you're like, why would you care about this $10,000? But you have to understand why they care. And then on the flip side, the next day when they want to spend $300,000 on changing something that's brand new, you can't be shocked about it either because that's normal, right? So
Yeah, I guess to add on that, in my experience working with high net worth clients, the one thing that I noticed immediately, and I still notice it because I don't only work with high net worth clients, they just don't get as emotional. They do not let their emotions drive them, like especially a first-time home buyer, right? Where they go in, they put an offer, and they've got their whole life picked out for that house, and they got 30 days to figure it out. And if that deal falls apart, they're devastated. And most of the high net worth people, they're just, yeah, because to piggyback what we said, they have options. And you know what? If it doesn't work, they'll buy the next one, or they'll pay more money, or they'll do whatever they need to do, as long as it. Yeah, exactly. So, as far as luxury, what I kind of see it as, it's something exclusive, and it could be location, it could be the type of property. So in Colorado, I will tell you there are some exclusive markets. Telluride Mountain Village and Aspen Snowmass are the two highest priced markets in Colorado, and they are, out of the reach of almost everybody who lives in Colorado, right? So it's exclusive to buy a home there because they're very small. I think Telluride has 9,000 people in it. Aspen has 7,800 people in the whole town. They're international markets, so you're competing with literally the world. And if a property, and they really haven't slowed down as much as some of the other pockets, because some of these homes, if a ski in, ski out home comes up, and you might not ever get an opportunity to buy it again on that street in your entire life. Or if you want to build, you're talking about 3 years potentially to complete a permit. And they're super exclusive, right? So it drives the price up. And I would say the second part is, sometimes the price point alone makes it exclusive. If you have a $24 million home, how many people can afford to buy it in this country? Not many, right? So that's kind of my take on it. As far as, well, I guess we'll start right back here. The beginning of your career, how did that start? Was your focus on higher listings? I can tell you right now, my focus was higher loan amounts because I make more money on a higher loan amount. So right from the beginning, I was ultimately just trying to work my way up. Was that like that for you, or?
Yes and no. Of course, I recognize that a higher price point is more money and more commission, and that I wanted to work my way up. But like Eva said, I didn't turn down any deals, leases, land parcels for $50,000, you name it, I'll sell it. So I did slowly work my way up, and I also saw that like when you work with a client at a lower price point, they might refer you someone that's at a higher price point. So I literally had a client who bought a $600,000 townhouse. It's actually the second property I ever sold, $600,000 townhouse, and I was like, oh, this is a pretty decent lead. I was actually really stoked about it. Close on him. He was so happy with my service, even though I never told him. I was like, you're my second deal ever, but he didn't know that. Don't tell him. But like the next couple months later, he referred me a client that bought a $8 million house and then a $9 million house a couple of years later, all from a 600. So I sold $17 million of homes from that one $600,000 deal. That was my second deal ever. So as you can see, like, do every deal ever, meet everyone you can, never turn down the client. You never know. I mean, obviously, if you're so busy, then get someone under you to take the like lower leads, right? But never turn down the client because you never know where it's going to bring you.
So your focus was not, it just kind of worked that way.
Yeah, but what I did do is, obviously I was in Los Angeles, saw these beautiful homes around me. So what I started to do is I kind of just adopted a fake it till you make it kind of mentality. I was 20 years old. You imagine how young I look when I was 20. Like, I look like I was 12. So it was like really embarrassing.
Yeah, you look like you're 20 now.
So yeah, imagine how I looked, okay? And like, I'm going up to people, talking to people about selling their houses. They're like, you're younger than my daughter. That's in middle school, you know? Like, how is this possible? But I was like, I'm gonna fake it till I make it. So I went out to all the like nice open houses, nice buildings. I started looking at all the open houses, trying to learn everything I could about the neighborhoods, about the agents that were presenting them. What are they saying? The names of the finishes. I didn't even know like the names of the finishes, the appliances, anything. I had to learn all of that from scratch. I made videos, I made content. I started blogging. At the time, agents were not on social media at all. So I was like one of the only ones on social media. I started making terrible, ugly blogs with my, flip phone or whatever. I'm just kidding. But, and then like I started posting all about the luxury listings that I saw each day. And then I started going into luxury condos because I saw that luxury condos had a lot less competition in them compared to luxury listings. Obviously they have the younger clientele and the older clientele, but a lot of younger clientele that I could kind of get to know and associate with. So I started learning everything about the building, getting to know the doorman, the amenities, the floor plans, the square footages, what's the ranges for sale, for rent. And then I would create blog posts about it. And then people started contacting me. So I started with luxury condos, selling luxury condo buildings in the Wilshire Quarter and downtown of Los Angeles, and then slowly started moving into single family as well. And, I started putting all the content out there. Nobody knew if it was my listing or not. And eventually, 99 people thought I was probably faking it, and they were right. But one person believed me. And then eventually 2 people believed me, and eventually 3, and it got a little better. So, yeah.
Excellent. Eva?
So I started interviewing other agents. That was kind of when I was a little bit slower. What I did is go to the heavy hitters and the higher end agents and took them for coffee and had conversations and, what's your style? Because I knew I had to have my own style.
Was this right when you started? Like right?
Yes, in the first couple of years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And what was their style? I knew I had to adopt my own style, but I kind of took what they were doing that was successful and just made it into my daily routine and just, molded it into what I did. And then I took the luxury marketing designation class and added that into it and then putting that stamp on my emails and sending it out to the world. But I think just really trying to mimic what the higher end was doing and then making it into my style.
Yep, that's smart. You ask this question, 100 times, you're going to get 100 different answers. So
The question again was...
Just say whatever you want.
Don't you be careful what you wish for. Oh God, I'm still working on that.
Yeah,
I'm still working on that, honey. So my advice or my tale of my backtrack. I'm going to say something a little controversial. Okay. It's like brokerages, like which brokerage you go to. So, plug your guys' ears. So, here's the thing. When I started, I was blogging a lot. I had a blog on Habitat for Humanity, and I was contacted by HGTV to do. So, at the time, people weren't really blogging, like you said, or there was no that this wasn't a thing.
When was this?
God, like 2005 to 2008. So even that was Facebook wasn't even like thing, really.
Right.
So I was booking out TV studio space in San Francisco, doing a green screening and filming these little, basically what we call blogging now. And so that's kind of what people got me kind of like the attention from the media at the time, and also my quips on my little blog, Habitat for Humanity. But really at the time I was with a smaller, I was still under the Religio branch, but there was a different company I was working for, a little more middle America, that's kind of like Better Homes and Gardens, basically. So it's it's not like, you don't think of luxury when you think of Better Homes and Gardens. And as I was getting more successful and getting more press, I just felt there was like a psychic dissonance or cognitive dissonance where I was, my clients were getting wealthier, and as was I, and I just felt like it was holding me back. But I was so loyal to the brand because Sherry Chris, who was the CEO, who just retired today actually, she plucked me out of obscurity. And she wanted to make me into like because at the time BXG was more, like your mom, and it was a different kind of vibe. She wanted to make it cool, so she was tapping all like the influencers around the country. And I'm still on their website. She was flying me around the country for photo shoots and conferences, and she made me, right? She put me on the map. And from there, I just got more and more business because I was getting more press. But like, I just felt so confused and conflicted because like I was like hiding my brand a little bit because I was doing my own business cards. I just felt kind of it just didn't really fit me. So I was and at the time when I was speaking at different conferences at CAR and NAR and everything, I always say it's all about you, girl. It's all about you. The agencies don't matter at all, girl. I was so wrong. I was wrong, and I feel. Well, let me take that back. If I wanted to be like a mid-range producer that's sold pretty much in my little area, that's fine because that type of realtor is PTA driven, your church driven, your SOI is right there. But if I was going to get like into the heavy hitter club, that's just not. I'm not part of country. I don't play golf. That's just not my family legacy is not there. So I bit the bullet and I succumbed to the recruiting thing at Sotheby's, and like my business doubled and tripled and quadrupled, and like my three biggest deals, like 10 million, 23 million, they were all from referrals from Sotheby's, from outside the area essentially. So because I don't have that network, I just didn't. And so I'm not saying I wouldn't have been a successful person without that, but like the brand for certain types of clientele matter. I'm just saying, why would you buy a black cotton t-shirt, $5, Old Navy, Old Slavey? And why do some people buy Tom Ford? Same black cotton t-shirt, molecularly speaking, to a Martian, it's the same thing, for $500. It's branding. A lot of it is branding. Now, mind you, there's some people who will say, that's a ripoff. I go to a thrift store and get it for 50 cents, girl. So, and that's fine. There's something for everyone. But when I got my first luxury listing referral, it was from a Sotheby's agent from Pacific Palisades. What my advice to you, when you get something that falls into your lap, whether it's a co-list or something, like just expect to spend money on it and lose money on it. Because I sat on that listing for 3 years. I was the 5th realtor to list that listing. I spent probably $80,000. Yeah. But it was worth it because that gave me 3 years worth of like press-worthy things to push it out. And so that really much launched my other careers because other people saw what I was listing. And that's kind of what, my point is it's not about just like the money, about a commission check. Sometimes when you have something, it's almost like a loss leader if you're in retail, you know what that means. Like you're losing money to get ahead because that's such a brand and trophy properties. That was my story. And so once that launched, then just the rest is history.
Good story.
So what would you guys say, you're spending on luxury listings relative to regular listings? Are you spending 1x more, 2x more? I mean, just like the photographs, for example. I'm assuming, you got the drone shots and all this, I mean, is there a number that you think
about
of?
Double.
About double?
Yeah.
Yeah. You
And
agree?
I think my threshold's about $1 million, 1.2-ish, and then I go up, I crank it up and spend a little bit more.
Over $1 million, $1.2 million?
Yeah.
Yep. And what does that look like as far as, are you getting better photographer? You're advertising in magazines.
The inside tours with the drones, obviously the outside tour, but I just ramp it up a little bit more.
Do you guys have the same like kind of dollar amount? Like, like
it's
the
probably
properties...
a lot less expensive here than it is there.
Yeah. So I would definitely agree that, that was I would definitely agree that for a luxury listing, you're looking at spending at least double, maybe 3, 4 times as much on the marketing. However, I would say that like in LA, I wouldn't spend that much on a $1 million house because it's probably a piece of shit. So it's different, but yes,
Yeah.
definitely. And in LA, people go all out with their videos. Like agents hire models to be in the videos, make it lifestyle, dog models, mermaids in the pool. Like it's freaking insane. So there's literally no limit on how much you can spend. And I will say that the amount that they spend, like Herman said, is really, it's more for like the agent to show off their brand, show off themselves, show off to other people in the neighborhood. I don't know if that mermaid in the pool actually sells the house, right? But it just makes you seem like a baller, basically. And then everyone remembers that house. They remember the house, and then they remember you as that agent that does that.
So as a lender, a couple questions for the lenders out there. What would you guys say your cash buyers are? Again, using your luxury listing, percentage wise of the clients that you are coming in to buy these homes that are paying cash versus financing.
Well, I would say in LA, at least, the higher the price point, the more cash it is. Under like 4 million, I would say probably like 75% are loans.
Right.
But once you get above that, then at least like half are cash. Once you get into the higher price points, and then once you go like 10 million plus, it's almost all cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say about 20%, 25%.
Cash.
And then, and more the mature, I don't see anybody really, there's a couple, but I'd say 30 and over would be a cash buyer.
Yep.
There are waves for cash buyers. Cash buyers are not a monolithic type of thing. So, for example, 7 years ago when China was the hottest shit and everyone was doing China this, China that, because every cash buyer was coming from China. Now the money's trapped over there, and they're going through their stuff over there too. So it's not happening as much. And so, who are the cash buyers coming from now? To your point, baby boomers, kids downsizing. They're going to cash out of their equity of their house. Maybe 5 years ago when the IPO market was super hot, like a lot of youngster tech Gen Z, is it Gen Z? No, the millennials, sorry. IPO'd and they were doing cash offers too. Now it's like really mixed at this point. I feel like there's a really strange time in this market where it's I don't know about you guys, but in San Francisco, we're going through a reckoning right now. It's just not as hot as it was. If anything, it's I'm working part-time at McDonald's now, girl. I'm the new fry girl. Girl, man, you want fries with that? I feel like the cash is still there, but it's just not as big as a deal in San Francisco because it's the acquisition prices are so high. There was a study done, I think, from NAR that said, 25 to 30% of all deals in the last year were actually cash. So I know that when you're in a different price point, cash, if you're offloading your property in San Francisco and you're moving to Denver, for example, what is like $1 million? That's a down payment there. So yeah.
So then where do you, because the market has changed so much, sorry guys.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love you so much, girl.
We have a question.
Gosh,
and
yes,
answers at
girl,
the
jump
end.
in. Yes.
because the market's changing and what you're saying about how it's kind of staying slow, you're seeing it everywhere across the United States, obviously, the R word, right? Where then is the real estate and the lenders going out and getting that business? Like, where are you getting that, drumming that up? I know you have your advertising and your social media and so on and so forth, but where are the meats and potatoes? Where are you getting that? Because you need to put food on your table, right?
Well, if I start off, it's off at the back. I know there's some weight, but I think that right now the deals are so far and few. You can't be picky about what you're going for. I will sell luxury, and I will not sell luxury. But I would say if you're are you a lender or are you
Yes.
a lender? Okay. I'm just gonna tell you on my end, like on the condo side, that's dead. Like if you got a buyer who's trying to get into a condo at this point, that's where the money is because the deals are because the sales are really embattled, at least in downtown San Francisco. The people who are ultra high net worth, those loans, they have too much discretion. All their money managers are telling them don't buy now. So it's almost like the people kind of in the happy medium from one, again, I don't know the price points, but basically in our area, anywhere from mid ones to maybe under 3, where you're normally a dual income tech couple who's dodging all the layoffs right now. They are going under the 4Ds, like death, divorce, diapers, and diamonds. Focus on those people. Death, divorce, diapers, and diamonds, okay? Anybody who says, oh, I'm looking for a pied-à-terre or a vacation home, or if I find the right deal, they're never gonna buy. It's just like, it's people who are compelled by a life-changing moment that's pretty much, because they have to transact. Everyone else is kind of just like, I mean, keep them in your sphere, but like downgrade them to like, see your D-list.
So I guess a little bit of feedback in the markets I've been working on is, number one, the two markets I had mentioned are almost exclusively second homes. So you're talking kind of about even a somewhat different clientele, because buying a $10 million second home is even a different client than a $10 million primary. The one thing that kind of drives, I would never know about any cash buyers, because obviously I wouldn't probably have the opportunity to talk to them, right? But I do know that as far as the financing piece, rates have a lot to do with it. If you do have the ability to pay cash, if rates are 3%, you don't want to. So I did many, many, many deals for people that did not have to do a loan on their property. They do it for opportunity cost. If you have $10 million, it's not sitting in a checking account. It's invested. It's tied up. You're liquidating positions to do that. It doesn't really make sense for them, right? So now the rates have gone higher. Those cash buyers that would love to take 3%. Now they're kind of like, well, it's 6%. Maybe I'm not getting that on my return. So maybe I'll just use this to pay cash now. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up with this. We're approaching an hour. We still got question and answers coming up. So last question, I think it's a good one. I'm going to read it verbatim. What is something you wish you would have known at the beginning of your career that would have helped you now? Or something you would have done differently?
What would I have done differently? It wouldn't apply now because it's so slow, but for the past 7 years, I really wish I'd gotten an assistant earlier. I was trying to do everything myself because a little miss overachiever, a little miss perfectionist, little miss I could do better than anyone else. So why would I do it myself? Why would I hire you? I should have just outsourced the more menial tasks. But yeah.
I think not to take things so personally, and know that, so you lose this deal, you lose this listing, it's okay, because there's going to be more. And just suck it up, let it pass, drink a bottle of wine, and the next day you're going to be okay. And it does pass, but I just don't take things personally, because it's okay.
It's business, right?
Can you tell my husband that it's okay to drink a bottle of wine? It's rough out there. So I think I would say, the most important thing is to, be genuine and authentic and true to yourself, or you're never going to be able to, really find success long term, because if you're trying to, act like someone else or act like someone else...
Wait, didn't you say fake it till you make it?
So, yes. Fake it till you make it, but
once you make it, then be true to yourself.
So let me explain, okay? Let me explain, okay? So yes, fake it till you make it, as in fake it like you know what's going on about the market, fake it like you know about the finishes, fake it like you know how to price this property, even though maybe you don't. You know the comps, you know what's in the neighborhood, but don't fake who you are. Don't try to be someone who you're not, because you're not gonna be able to keep it up. You're gonna, you know what I mean? And that comes in different ways too. Obviously, yes, how you act is one way, but what I learned is even in my prospecting, for example, what you said, copying all the agents that are successful and trying to figure out what they're doing, but then you have to twist it and make it your own. So when I first started, I would see agents, for example, door knocking, and then I would see agents that door knock for 5 hours a day, and they were so good at it, they get so many listings. They're like, Jamie, you have to go door knock. But imagine 20-year-old little Chinese girl door knocking in LA, right? It's scary, it's not. And I'm the kind of person, when someone knocks on my door, I turn off the lights and hide. So I'm like, why would I go knock on people's doors? It felt so intrusive. It wasn't my style. And so I couldn't find success doing that, because I just wasn't confident. I didn't want to go into people. It was just awkward for me. And I would cold call, and I would find myself thinking, I hope they don't pick up. And then I'm like, why am I doing this, right? So I learned that I need to focus my time on the things that are true to myself, my personality, that I actually enjoy doing. And that's something that I can actually get up every morning and be motivated to do every day instead of trying to be something that is not me.
And then it shines through.
Exactly, yeah.
That's the end of our normally scheduled questions. We're going to open up for questions. Who would like to go first?
I'm curious about your daily routine. How do you keep track of, for example, like I get leads from so many different sources. Not everything's automated. How do you like wake up in the morning? Like, what's your routine? How to stay on track? Because we always hear about like work on your business, whatever in the morning, work in your business in the afternoon, but then reality, shows up. You have to multitask and your day goes crazy. So like I'm 14 years into it, but I'm always curious to hear what successful people out there doing as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think I'm still trying to figure it out myself, but I think it's all about figuring out like what motivates you and incentivizes you to live and get up in the morning, right? And so I think as a real estate agent, every day is different. And I think if I have like slow periods, obviously I get like depressed and sad and I like sit at home and I twiddle my thumbs. So I'm trying myself to learn like in those periods to enjoy my life and enjoy my time and figure out like for example, if I'm really busy and I haven't been keeping up with all my systems and things, I can take some time to manage my systems and do things like that. But when the business is crazy and it's busy, honestly, I don't have work-life balance. I just do everything that I can. I get up, I do all the appointments, answer all the emails, write all the contracts, stay up till midnight. And so, I don't know if you guys have a better answer. I don't.
I will tell you, my phone goes off at 9:00 every night. That's the way it is. I don't care. And if I have a glass of wine, I don't talk to clients. Like, that's just the way it is. I mean, I just, right. No, but you can't, because you might say something like, I just bought you a car to buy this house. But my routine is every single morning I get up and I'm at that computer. Every single morning, because you have to read your mail, right? And you don't know who's emailing you or if there's something going to blow up. So regardless, and then if I have time, I try to work out. But honestly, like I won't work out at 3:00 in the afternoon because your day's gone. But everything's early for me, and then by 9:00, like I said, it's done. That's my time with my family, and unless it's like urgent, but I don't write contracts after 9. I'm like, that's just the way it is. I say, I'll talk to you in the morning.
I'm a witch. When it hits 10 o'clock, that's my witching hour. I become like on. That's when I catch up with all my longer, hard to write emails, my contracts. So that's what I do personally. I don't have a CRM. I don't know her. The CRM is up here somehow. I'm getting menopause, I told you. My osteoporosis and my sciatica and everything's been active. God knows what's going to be next. Probably Alzheimer's. But for now it works. Don't feel bad. I feel I used to feel bad that I wasn't part of a top producer or all these programs that forced you to organize your life. I realized my mind is like a spokes, a wheel. It's kind of all over the place, and to put me into a one line thing, it made me uncomfortable. I know how my mind works. It's just a hot mess, and that's okay.
I feel like none of us answered your question, but there's no answer.
So the routines, that's what I do. I get up and look at that computer every morning, 7 a.m.
What marketing strategy do you feel makes you uniquely? Like, what do you do that people look at? Oh, that's so Eva. Oh, that's so Herman. That's so Tian.
I'm consistent. I will tell you that. I'm consistent on my mailers, my newsletters, my social media. I pay somebody to do my social media because I don't have time. That is really important. I think consistency is key.
I don't do mailers, save a tree, poor little Mother Nature's already mad at us. I'm not consistent. I don't have no marketing strategy. I mean, I say I don't, but everyone tells me, oh, you do, because everyone knows you and it follows you. And so for me, I guess I live my life just on my social. So I'm in my way. That's not marketing to me. It's just being me. And I guess it is marketing. beats the hell out of me, girl. I don't know. I mean, 99.9% of my business is referrals, so I'm not trying to. I used to feel guilty for not trying to market more and putting my face on a bus bench ad, but I don't want people seeing my face in public, so.
Well, one thing that I do that I get obviously a lot of referrals from is attend all of these AREAA events and different real estate events all around the country. So.
It's a really good deal. I sent her a referral. They love their doing.
Yes, thank you, Herman. And so, yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen right away, right? You can't go to one event and expect to like go home next week with a deal, although sometimes it happens occasionally. But most of the time, you go meet people, you network, you hand out your business card, you follow each other on social media, you continue talking on social media, engaging for maybe a year or two, and then eventually you get a referral, right? I mean, Herman and I have known each other for so many years now. We finally did a deal together a couple of years ago, right? It's all about building your relationships. So I attend a lot of AREAA events, NAR events, all different organization events, and not only is it fun, I get to travel around the country and visit cool cities like Denver, but I also get deals from it as well. So.
Get involved.
And you're doing good for the community.
Hello, I'm a lender here, but I just have a question since I see a lot of young ladies in Herman. What would you tell yourself when you first started and you had the worst disappointment that will almost make you to just basically turn around and say, you know what, forget it, this is not for me? What would you tell that younger self today?
I would tell myself that real estate is purely a numbers game. You're always going to have way more rejections than you are successes. And if you can't get through 9 rejections to get to that one success, this is not the business for you. And I don't know what business there is where everyone's always nice to you and positive and you never fail. So, yeah.
I mean, you own this business. This is you. So you work hard, you reap the benefits. You don't work, you're going to reap the benefits of not having the benefits. So the harder you work, it's going to come. It just trickles down.
What would I tell myself if I was a young lady? Is your question? Trans rights. This is a family event. I can't probably say too much, anything nasty, but well, I will say I'm not a lady in what you're talking about, but I do feel like the way you present yourself is very key. I used to think showing some TNA would get me some deals. It got me a lot of attention. But I realized that I had to. It's all imaging. Every second I'm out there, it really is kind of like it's a lifestyle of what you're projecting. Like my biggest fear is like walking into somewhere at Whole Foods and my veneer is like impenetrable. I feel like everything I push out there, what I'm projecting, I feel like I don't want there to be any cracks. And it's gotten harder and harder because of social media and AI. It's all in your business. Stuff you didn't even like want out there is like it's popping up somehow. So I would tell myself to just keep it tight. Yeah.
Hi guys, my name is Min Pham, and I am a realtor. And I wanted to ask you guys, like, of course, with real estate, we have ups and downs, and sometimes, like Jamie said, that we do get kind of slow, and then we get kind of depressed. So, what do you guys do, or what skills do you guys need to implement to be able to get it over faster? Because obviously we're always trying to get it over faster so we could keep going. Yeah, I just wanted to ask that.
Yeah. Well, back to, I'm just going to respond to the slow time. The slow time is because 6 months ago you didn't do something. That's my opinion. You have to start and you have to be consistent. That's where it's at. So if you're not starting now, you know if you're not working today, you're going to be affected 6 months from now or 3 months from now. So you have to constantly be working, and that is the problem with our business. You don't get a break. So you'll see it if you don't work it.
I'll add to that too. I think like when you're busy, it's really easy to get caught up in the deals that you're doing and then stop prospecting. That happens to me all the time, right? You got like all these escrows going on. You're trying to put out fires all day. This request repair, that inspection, that. And then you realize, like, I haven't even prospected for 3 months, and then when those deals close, it's suddenly dead, right? So, like, just that's exactly what she's saying is, like, you always have to be thinking ahead 6 months. How am I going to get the deal in 6 months and spend time prospecting all the time? You should really, I mean, like, just like Herman said, he wish he got a assistant earlier, right? Like, once you get the deal into escrow, you should have, like, an assistant or someone, and then you should be spending your time building your pipeline.
I should have answered this question when you said my regrets. So it relates to what you said, Min, right? I wish that I had learned not to tie my self-esteem to my success. Because success goes up and down, just like the market. And I would have these emotional highs and lows, and being a perfectionist and overachiever, I would get in these really depressive states, and it was just really unhealthy for me. So I'm still working through that right now, obviously. So I'm bracing for my next year. But yeah, just having checking your mental health is something I probably should do. Yeah, or getting a job. You know.
Good stuff. Who's up? Who's up next?
Yes. What's up?
Okay, so the other question I have, and like I mentioned, 14 years of doing this, you know, you start kind of thinking, like, how much longer can I do the same thing? So I've been thinking, like, branching out, you know, start real estate for college for a couple of years.
So you're residential resales, or what's your?
Yeah, residential. And so I'm just curious, are you doing anything to create any kind of passive income? Are you looking for opportunities, you know, to create that, so that if you decide to, let's say, as I'm thinking, going to France for a few years, you don't have to just basically stop making money.
Est-ce que tu parles français?
Oui.
Oh, je ne savais pas. C'est formidable. Je suis si impressionné, moi. So I would say, I mean, the whole thing about the pandemic is it made people kind of reflect what they truly want to do. And whereas the rest of the world had 2 years to kind of reevaluate their life, we didn't. We were like going gangbusters. And I feel like now is our time, what they went through 2 years ago. And a lot of realtors are kind of going through the same thing, as am I. And so I don't know, for me, I could have retired years ago already. So I honestly wonder why I still beat myself to a pulp doing this job. My mom's like, you should just retire, but I wouldn't know what to do with myself. So if I found something that was like a calling, I would go for it. And it sounds like you have something that you want to move for. As long as you're financially kind of like set, I would just, like, now's the time, especially as it's kind of a little bit more of a downturn a little bit. So yeah.
I'm looking into a bunch of rentals.
Oh, rentals. I saw all the rentals. You know, California, the rent control and eviction control girls out of control. I was like, I love my rentals way.
Question. Commercial and luxury. You guys mix well together?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah, so Cal and I work from Dallas, and we're actually part of the luxury group as well. So just being the referral network, and just, you talk about experience, right? You guys have a high net worth client, and they're buying commercial, doing other businesses, so it kind of mixes well together. I really like how AREAA, AREAA commercial, AREAA luxury, and how we do things together. So wanted to kind of ask.
Yeah, people who own big commercial buildings usually own really expensive homes personally in their lives. So, there's an overlap. There's an overlap.
I'm going to ask for all the lenders, because there's quite a bit of lenders here. What can we do to work with you guys? Like, what is it that you're looking for? I know that you have your go-to people. That's awesome. We do too, actually. But what can we do? How do we build that with
That's
you
a
guys?
great question. I'll tell you, don't show up in my open house with your zipper down. That's, yeah, no. I had that. I'm trying to talk to a customer, a potential client, selling the house, and there's somebody standing in front of me with his zipper down going, you keep ignoring my calls. I'm like, I'm trying to sell the freaking house. Get out of my face. I think persistence is important. It's kind of nice when you get a little package in the mail. A lot of lenders are doing that, whether it's a keychain or a chocolate bar or whatever, but it keeps them, in my memory and their face. So if I see their name, they call me and they're like, hey, did you get my book? Or did you get things like that? That's a bonus.
I'll tell you what I tell every lender that asks me for a referral. I say, you bring me a client first, and I'll return the favor. At the end of the day, like, we're doing our clients the best service if we can find them the best rates. So if you have the best rates, then and you give good customer service, then you're going to be the one that we choose. I'm not going to choose someone who is giving me gifts and is nice to me and has way higher rates just because they're nice to me, right? So.
No, but it's to stay in your face. Like,
But yes, if I give 3 choices to my clients, if you want to be one of them, send me some leads.
I do the same thing. I give choices. Exactly. And same with inspectors. That's just.
Don't send me anything. My office is full of, what are the tumbler things called? Those cups or something? Oh my, no, I know. I remember for the wrong reason. Oh my God, another thing. I'm never gonna, I don't want to be going to my gym and walking around town with like people's names on my, I mean, if it's gonna be Gucci or something. Why? I mean, I don't understand, so don't, but just, I really appreciate people reaching out to me personally, like inviting me to events. Don't spend too much, but I want to connect with like the person personally. So, you know what? Just invite me to brunch or something like that. Chit chat, talk about the business, not even about clients. And usually it's almost my vetting thing. When I take a coffee or a meeting with a lender, like, how are they treating the staff? Like, are they understanding? If I know more about what's happening in the loan world than they do, bad sign. Bad sign. So it's just like, yeah, but I really am cautious about who I kind of release my clients to because I don't want there to be any.
Right.
Yes.
Like, take them on a date first.
Yeah, Rumi.
I have a lot of lenders that say, "Can I take you for a coffee?" I probably get about 15 calls a week. Can I take you? I'm like,
So would it be okay, luxury aside, I have a referral, I'm gonna send it to you.
all day long. Yes. Because I've had the same thing. People are like, "Why don't you use me?" I'm like, "Because your wife's a realtor." Right.
One more question, right in the middle here.
What is your skincare routine?
Herman? Are you talking to Herman?
You guys look 21.
Because I ask Herman about his skincare routine often, and he does videos about it, so you can check it out on his Instagram. I'll let you go through the process.
There you go.
You follow me on IG, Hermanity, as in crimes against Hermanity. Yes, okay. Thank you. So, I'll tell you all a little secret because you're my peeps. Again, I was born this way.
I think that wraps it up. Let's give them a round of applause.
Can we get the board and get a group picture? All right, let's look at the panel real quick, and then we'll get the board together. All the angles, all the angles. Right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Now let's get the board. Banner. We'll get the rest of the board.
All right, can we get the board? All of the Greater Denver board.
AREAA Greater Denver board, bro. The AREAA Greater Denver board, we need to take a photo. Mike O'Neill, vote. Dylan, Tony,
No, no. Christine, 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 get him.
Two steps this way. Two steps this way. Chin up, tits out, ladies. Come on. There you go. All right, here we go. Walk up, walk up. Walk up.